Now you're just somebody that I used to know. You didn't have to cut me off. Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Alright guys, today we're going to be, this is like, I feel like I do so many kind of like makeup, I feel like I do so many like negative videos, and I don't want my channel just to be like negativity. Like I know you all are like roast, roast, roast. And doing roast videos is freaking fun, but I also want there to be positivity, and maybe at some point in my life I'd like to leave some avenues open for PR. But that is a long time, probably never coming. And so today we're going to talk about brands that I used to trust, like brands that I could purchase from, no problem, everything I got was fantastic, who now, for some reason or another, have become, either by personal experience of me or some other reason, have become a bit less trustworthy for one reason or another. I am just going to jump into this, and we're going to start off with probably the most obvious one, which is Kat Von D. If y'all have been on my channel for any amount of time, you guys would know that Kat Von D was essentially one of my end-all be-all brands. I was hideously loyal to this woman. Everything she released, I bought. I was just down and whatever for her stuff. Then sort of like, I feel like the evolution of the problematic brands sort of happened, where like brands weren't just producing makeup, they were also starting drama and creating problems and being all whatever. And I honestly think what started Kat Von D's whole road down this thing was when she did that video on Jeffree Star. The one where she exposed him and like just talked about all this stuff and was like, I'm going to be removing my Jeffree liquid lipstick and just whatever. That kind of started the ball rolling with just all this drama and all this problematic whatever. And then the other thing that I can't trust anymore is her quality control. She used to be impeccable. She was a brand that I could trust quality-wise. It didn't matter if it was blush, if it was eyeshadow, we got the brow products going on, lipstick, she released it, it was good according to my experience. Enter highlighters and fetish collection, and I'm kind of shooketh when it comes to her sudden lack of quality control. Then another brand that I used to really trust is kind of another case of, you know, I'm always, you know, purchasing from them and their releases happen and I'm getting it. And this is mostly from a quality control standpoint, and that is Too Faced. Too Faced, it used to be that every once in a while, very scarcely, they would have like a dud. And usually a dud for them would be like a single shade in an eyeshadow palette. Now when it comes to a dud, we're just taking the whole eyeshadow palette and chucking it into the bin. And I feel like part of this is perpetuated because they release so much. It's like they're not giving themselves the time to really formulate good products. They're just throwing it in really cute packaging and pushing it out. And when you can't take the time to create good formulas or to deal with the quality control, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. And what's happening? It just keeps getting worse and worse. They release the same things over and over and over again. I can't buy their stuff with like assurance that I'm gonna get the same quality. Case in point, the Too Faced Peachy Mattes, which I love. It's bombastic. I need to pull that thing out more. And then their White Peach, which I was like, yes, I am here for it, and the quality just wasn't there. Enter anything holiday they do. It's just the same mishmash thrown into a cutesy kitschy cardboard thing, and they're just all over the place. And they're honestly a brand that I haven't been excited about or looked at something and been like, yeah, I need that for a while now. Then one that is sort of a little bit random, and I will be touching on kind of just a titchy bit of drama that I'm honestly a little disappointed that more people haven't spoken up about, and that is Buxom. And this isn't coming from any sort of quality standpoint at all. I think they are a very underrated brand with some really underrated formulas. No, the problem that I have is this whole drama controversy that they had with Face Lace, with Lace Face, I don't even know. I will leave it down below. I'm pretty sure it's Face Lace, but it's this one lady who creates these like super intricate, edgy, editorial face appliques. And Buxom came out and they were like, all right, we want to get on this trend. And they made one for holiday. I'm pretty sure it was 2018, which was literally a copy, trace, cut, and paste of this one lady's copyrighted, trademarked design. I have so many issues with this. As someone who is a writer and an artist and who has had my work taken from me before, it just really guiles me when a brand, not even an indie brand, a big brand that has the money and the funding to put in an effort to make their own product, just literally go to this other brand and are like, hey, let's just completely directly copy this. Like, are you kidding me? That is like, I'm surprised no one, like, where are the boycott Buxom videos? Like, we all want to whine and complain about Kat Von D and Jeffree Star and Tarte, but I'm like, this is disgusting. I don't know, that one just really rubs me the wrong way. Then another brand that's sort of kind of like a in the middle type thing, that is Becca. You guys know I am a huge advocate and fan of their shimmering skin perfectors. I think I've got like 16, which is way more than any 1, 2, 3, or 4 people need, but I love them. It's like Pringles, once you pop, you just can't stop. But I feel like Becca is starting to fall into that like Too Faced era where they're just releasing a bunch of stuff. It used to be we'd get a new or a limited edition shade of shimmering skin perfector maybe once a year. Then come a holiday, we would get a really awesome sauce holiday palette that would be sold out, raved about. And now they're just kind of releasing things left and right. And I reiterate, when you are releasing things at a rapid pace, you really, no matter how good of a brand you are, you really aren't allowing yourself enough time to create that consistency that you can when you're doing less rapid fire releases. And so if we just stepped, if all of the brands, honestly, all of the brands, there are some worse offenders than others, but they all have, they need to step back, need to think a minute, they need to analyze the market and realize that we don't need the same thing 12 times over, and just release less. Another brand that I feel like falls under a lot of people's, like, under this category, a lot of people would agree with me, and that is Tarte. Tarte, the poor, the sad, depressing, the massive, non-inclusive Shape Tape foundation range that erupted and just whatever. And then the whole April Fool's beautiful Icy Batch palette. I mean, that was stunning. It has now been duped by a brand on Shop Hush. Tarte will never be able to come from that. They just kind of really sabotaged themselves. And the whole thing is it's like they sabotage themselves in ways that's like, these things are preventable. Do you think before you post? Is there any filter? And I feel like with Tarte, there just really isn't. They're like, alright, we're going to release this crappy shade range, and then when we get called out about it, we're like, well, darker shades are harder to formulate, and so we're going to come out with those later. It's like so not everyone is going to be able to wear it right off the bat. They have to wait because they're an afterthought. And then the whole thing with the palette where they're like, oh, look at this. And everyone was like, yes, yes. Everyone was ready to buy that thing. And then they were like, April Fools. That was like the biggest kick in the stomach that we've had in a while. Whoever okayed that, somebody lost their job that day. And then take into consideration, Tarte is definitely, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but Tarte is definitely one of those brands that releases too much stuff. And too much stuff that's just like stupid. Like they did this whole like wine whatever thing, and don't get me wrong, I'm definitely a wine mom, but like the brush that looks like a wine champagne flute, and it comes with the gloss lip stain, and then I'm just like, nobody asked for this. We didn't need it. There was no point in this other than procking off of the basic white girl tropes. And I'm really just not here for it. They're just, it used to be, you know, when they're, you know, when the Tartlet in Bloom came out, everyone's like, woo, you know, the Tartlet Toasted came out, woo, you know, now it's like they release something and it's like, yeah. There just isn't the same interest or the same trust or the same investment in their brand. Just so many people have just been like, I'm done, I'm out. And once again, with these high-end brands, they need to understand that they are replaceable. And not even necessarily by other high-end brands. They are replaceable by lower cost / drugstore options. I will continually purchase from, say, Wet n Wild or LA Girl or Juvia's Place or just a myriad of other ones that seem to care a little bit more about that quality control and what they put out. Now, no brand is perfect. Every brand has created duds. But these higher end brands really need to understand that they aren't, you know, an untouchable. And speaking of untouchable, Mr. Star. Now, Jeffree Star is a brand who I feel has fairly consistent quality products, except there've been a few, like with every brand. I was not a fan of his Thirsty palette, but on a whole, I feel like his products are pretty well received and have pretty, you know, pretty level quality. The thing about not trusting him anymore is sort of like, you guys would have seen my mystery box debacle. You guys saw that? I know a lot of people had a little bit more information than I did. Maybe it was just my own fault. Whatever. The problem that I had with that wasn't necessarily, it was the shipping and the happen and the whatever. But the thing that really stood out to me is the fact that he didn't even have the decency to address it. After stating, you know, oh, there are going to be no shipping problems. There were shipping problems. I had a subscriber tell me on that video, she commented, she was like, hey, I still haven't even got mine, and that was after mine. But after all that, he didn't even have the decency to respond. No, he was off riding high on the Morphe Brushes collaboration, which was its own crapshoot in of itself. He was going off and having fun in Miami. Money's in the bank. Like, what does he have to care about anymore? People are upset. Oh well, he's still a billionaire. And just sort of that disconnect from personal responsibility. Like, do any of these brands even realize that, like, they have a responsibility to the consumers, I mean, to us, to the people, to be consistent, to address problems. We're not in high school. They're not a bunch of sorority girls and frat boys going back and forth and being ha ha ha. No, we are past that. And so I feel like a lot of people, especially the bigger beauty gurus, aren't very good or aren't very willing to come out and say when something is bad, when quality is inconsistent, when a brand is being a big giant butt to everybody, because they don't want to be taken off the PR list. And I feel like, I'm just like, are our morals, are we willing to sacrifice our morals for some free makeup? Apparently people are, but I hope to high heavens that I never reach that point, because I only ever want to be 100%, and I feel like we need to actually call out brands more often. Hold them accountable. Don't just give them a green light just because you get a free eyeshadow palette every once in a while. That isn't fair to the subscriber base or the other people on YouTube, because you're creating this false narrative and you're lying. You're lying. Now I understand that makeup is a perspective, a opinion. So one thing that I may think is horrible, you know, someone may love. That's just the way it goes. But if something is consistently bad and people only of the higher whatevers only have a good thing to say about it, it's just like, is it really good? Alright people, I am gonna cut it off there. We're already at like 25 blinking minutes. But that was just me kind of spewing my guts out and doing my thing. Definitely let me know what you think about the points that I talked about. Is there a particular brand that you used to trust and hold in high esteem that's now kind of out in the doghouse? I love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. And as always, keep it real. Mwah!